which is bigger than just about one particular person. And I'll say some words about that in a moment. But since it is Founders Day, I just would like to share just a little tidbit of my story of my connection and a little bit of my history with Dae San. So I first came to Providence in January 1978 to attend college at Brown. And from a very young age, when I was a little boy, a certain question appeared for me. And I knew I was looking for something deep and profound, like a true meaning, and really who I really was. This appeared quite early. And nothing religious or dogmatic, anything like that ever resonated with me. So I knew I was looking for something, and I just kind of kept growing up. And then I came to Providence in 1978. And without taking time to go into the details, in October of 1978, while I was at school, one night I had a very profound experience. It was really a before thinking kind of experience in space that I went to, and there was a series of these realizations. Something in my mind opened up, and through that experience, which was quite short as far as I remember. I really saw, I had this insight into that, what we might call true nature or true self, that's before thinking, it's before name and form. And, before all the concepts and ideas that I have about myself and who I am or who I should be, there's a place before all that, and that's where we might call true self is. And in that moment, I saw that we all have that, we all share that together, and we're all family, we're all connected, we're not separate selves. So I was very happy. It's like, that's what I've been looking for, and that's what I really want to know. I really want to know that, and I want to strive to live my life as best I can from that place. And then I really didn't know anything about Buddhism before, and I certainly hadn't meditated or anything. I'd read one or two books in a class at Brown the semester before, so maybe because of those books, I really don't know. But in that moment too, part of this realization was that, this is what the Buddha realized and taught. And so this is what the essence, like Buddhism and the Dharma, is about, is cultivating this realization, this true self, that we're not separate and all that. So in that moment I knew, that's going to be my spiritual path. I just knew it. Buddhism is going to be, that's the way for me. And then one of the other things I kind of saw was, it's going to be important to have the support, the guidance of a teacher, someone who's already accomplished this. Otherwise, probably easy to kind of get off track and stuff. So anyway, that happened, and then since I was in Providence already for a little while, I'd never been there yet, but I heard about this place, the Providence Zen Center, which in those days was still down in Providence on Hope and Wickenden Street. And I'd also, at the same time, heard about this cool, charismatic Zen master from Korea. So I was like, wow, I got to go down there. Maybe this is my ticket, And about 2 weeks later, because he was out of town, I checked it out. He was back, and in those days, public talks were on Wednesday nights. So I went the first time he was back for the practice and the talk. And when he started talking, whatever he talked about, I'm sure don't know and just do it, and a million other things. And of course, he was funny as all hell, which he always was. But everything he said just completely spoke to me. It completely resonated with me and that experience that I had about 2 weeks prior. There was no separation there. So I was like, that's my teacher. I found my teacher. So that night, that began my connection and history with Dae San and our Sangha. And I've always felt so at home with the practice and the teaching, I always have. So that's just a little bit about my story with Dae San, and I've always had great love for him. But there's another part to Founders Day which doesn't have anything to do with just this one person, which is that we're all founders, or maybe, if you will, refounders, because every day is a new day, right? And our daily practice is most important. So each day when we practice, it's like we're reaffirming and recommitting ourselves to our practice and our direction. So we're all founders. We all have our own, reasons or stories maybe for which brought us to the Dharma and all. But something brought us to practice. Something brought us here today. And so we're all founders, right? And so every day recommitting ourselves to our practice just through doing our daily practice, both our informal and informal practice is of utmost importance. And lastly, if we have a practice, maybe we have certain personal vows that we say to ourselves each day, recommit ourselves to. That's a great practice. And I just want to take a moment to say just a few words about the 4 great vows, which are in the program. They're today at the end of the program, and they're on the back of the chanting book. And in our practice on our Sangha, we repeat them every day, and in the daily practice and in retreats, of course. And the 4 great vows are: sentient beings are numberless, we vow to save them all. Delusions are endless, we vow to cut through them all. The teachings are infinite, we vow to learn them all. And the Buddha way is inconceivable, we vow to attain it. So those are the 4 great vows. So each line expresses something which in a sense is impossible because they're numberless or infinite and all that. But yet, we're saying with each of them, we're going to do it though. We're going to do it. And that, excuse me, this is an important aspect, part of our practice and our direction. Because when we just come back to the present moment and we're things just as they are, right? Just with this moment, just as it is, not through my idea or the concepts or all the stories in my head, but just with things as they are, then at that moment all sentient beings are saved. All delusions have been cut through, all teachings are learned, and that which is inconceivable has been attained. So that's our practice. And so every day, I want to thank you all for being founders and refounders, and together every day we continue our practice and together help this world. Thank you.
Please stand for the threefold refuge. Threefold refuge. Oh, I'm sorry. That's after this. Let's come. The threefold refuge. Homage to all the Buddhas who are present in their glory at this assembly. Homage to the Dharma, which is present in its glory at this assembly. Homage to all the Sangha who are present in their glory at this assembly. be seated. We're going to do the offering of flowers to the Buddha. We'll have the children come up. We have children here? Where are the children? There's a few. Okay, good. We're going to have the children come up and offer flowers. They can come up one by one, put a flower in the vase, which I can't see from this angle, but I trust that it's there. Put it in there. All right. Excellent, excellent. Well done. I was going to say, he has a great future as an attorney. Very literal and wants to get paid. He really understands his job, doesn't he? We'll have 3 minutes of silent meditation now. Okay, we will now hear from the Zen Center updates from representatives of our local Zen centers. We will begin with Christina Sullivan from the Chogye International Zen Center of New York.
Recording in progress.
Okay. Yeah, you can come up here.
Oh, okay, thanks. We have a few updates to provide from Chogye in New York. We've seen our attendance up recently, so that's been really great. We just had a retreat with Zen Master Jok and I think there were about 9 or 10 people there, which was really great, and some people online. We also have a resident there, but we have another room for a guest room that's open. So if anybody would like to come to New York and stay there, our resident Cam is really lovely and she keeps the Zen Center really clean and very warm feeling. So if anyone wants to come and stay, we would love that. Some other things that we're doing, we've been doing workshops on Sundays. So we've been doing that here and there. Different people from our Zen Center have been holding and leading workshops based on certain things that they're interested in. And then we have a Wednesday evening practice, but we've been adding other evening practices as well. We have one on Tuesdays, which our Bodhisattva teacher, Willie, has been leading. So that's all from New York. Thanks for being here. Good to see everyone.
Next we hear from Michael Sullivan from the Three Jewels Binghamton Zen Group.
He's in the kitchen.
He's in the kitchen.
Okay.
That's a good place for him.
That's the central activity of the Three Jewels Zen Group.
I see why it's Three Jewels. Okay. Then in that case, we will skip over that and hear from Paul Bloom from the New Haven Zen Center.
Well, as we all know, the center of practice is to keep clear mind in the center of whatever activity confronts us. And so, as I was getting onto I-95 this morning, I was very clear that my robes were at the New Haven Zen Center. I just wanted to mention that. In addition to that, it's great to be here for the 45th anniversary, and but to mention in terms of New Haven that New Haven is older in terms of being in the same place than Providence. We're one of the oldest Zen temples in the United States. I think we're 49 years old, I'm not really sure, something like that. And in terms of that, our focus right now is what do we do to keep this temple going for another 49 years? And we're in the midst of that process. We'll keep you posted on that. However, one thing that we're experiencing, it was just said, and I believe it's experienced at other centers as well, is that the activity and energy of people coming to practice with us is very much stronger than it's been for years. And I know that that's shared by other centers, and I'm in an interdenominational group in New Haven, and it seems to be shared by churches and synagogues as well. So I don't know exactly what that means, but my guess is that the world is such a deeply crazy and disturbed place at the moment that people are looking for something to move to their center, and that's a good thing. So I don't know what else to say, but glad to be here with everybody today.
Next will be John Coley from the Cambridge Zen Center. John is the abbot of the Cambridge Zen Center.
Quite sure the ceremony, but hello everybody. from Cambridge Zen Center. I'm John Colwaite. One of the new things at Cambridge Zen Center is me. I became the... I became the abbot in January. I'm taking over from Barbara. I'm in very good hands with the guiding teachers, Jane and Diane and Bonshim and Colin, who comes to visit us a lot. So I've been shepherded in very, very nicely, and I'm learning a lot as we go. Of you who've been up to the Cambridge Zen Center before, you might know we have a very old building and a very long-standing practice. So the first thing I realized when I became abbot is you need a place to practice, and that place needs a lot of maintenance. Roofs, foundations, windows, and just when you think one thing is fixed, something else goes. But those are simple things. You call the window guy, they make a measurement, they put in the window, beautiful. 1 + 1 is 2. You fill up the building when we're getting lots of people. We're almost at capacity right now. I think in September we'll have about 30 residents from that main house and the apartments. And then comes the more complicated thing. Putting buildings together, you can make a quick phone call. Putting human beings together to all work in harmony is a little different. And that's our practice, is like the potatoes in the pot. You put a lot of them in there, there's a lot of action, which is really beautiful. That's how we all help each other and support each other. So things are very energized at the Cambridge Zen Center. I'm learning a lot every day as I grow. Some of the interesting programmings we've had, we started to have some outside Sangha people or in the Zen Center lead something a little bit different than Zen practice that can help enhance your practice. And one of the successful programs we had was a pranayama yoga workshop, breathing yoga. And it was very well attended, and I've noticed people using some of the techniques before bowing or after bowing. It seems to help them a bit with their practice. We're also doing a lot of fun things. The summer has been extremely hot. So one of our residents, I don't know if you've seen it come out, but we're doing ice baths in the backyard, which is the perfect summer for that. And there's a whole technique with breathing and energy, so we're experimenting with that. We've tried some fun things like some dance activities, some cooking to kind of stir it up, but we're looking to enhance the programming, keep the energy flowing. Retreats have been very, very busy. Our Tuesday night and Sunday practices have been max capacity. In fact, if a teacher comes, if any of you come up to do an interview on a Tuesday night, please show up at 7 because we're starting the interviews during chanting to get them all done by 9, which was Colin's idea. So we're very, very busy. It's very, very exciting. And I'm learning a lot. Talk about an opportunity to ground yourself. It is the ultimate opportunity. But I thank everyone for your support. And Founders Day is really special. I remember this room in 1993. My practice began in the Quantum School of Zen. I was a young, very disillusioned young man out there in the audience, and Daesan Sanim was right up here. And I asked, the Q&A came, and I remember asking him a question. I said, excuse me, I'm bothered by a lot of anger in my life. What do I do about this anger? He looked me right in the eye and said, are you angry right now? I said, no, I'm fine. Good. Next question. And that, I was hooked. So, and I'm gonna stay hooked. So thank you for your support.
And next with the Massachusetts prison program is me. I'm going to move over here. Well, some of you know a bit about our program, but I'll just give you the quick Reader's Digest version. Before COVID, we were in 5 different facilities. Now, after COVID, we're in 2. Part of that is because the programs didn't revive, and part of it is because we don't have the volunteers. But I'm not complaining about that. I'm here to tell you about the programs that do exist. We have a group at medium security in Shirley, Massachusetts, which is very well attended, including most recently 5 Rastafarians who just think the practice is the greatest. And I'm there along with Seamus Boshell and Joe Farrell. and sometimes Harry Pillay are my co-volunteers there. And then on Tuesday nights at Old Colony Correctional in Bridgewater, we also have a very vibrant group. Just the other night, I was asked, when are we going to do our next precept ceremony? So they're definitely very interested in the practice, and they're also the best chanters. Sorry, Cambridge Zen Center, come down to Bridgewater. You'll learn how to chant down there. Those guys are amazing. And Jane actually visited that group a few months ago, and they were over the moon for her, and really doubled down on their practice quite a lot. And also, I'm assisted there by Francisco Irby, and we could definitely use more volunteers. This actually, the Providence area, it's not a bad drive up to Bridgewater. It's pretty quick, so think about that. That's what we're doing. We were not successful in reviving the group at the women's prison. I think it's mostly administrative malaise, but how do I know? One good piece of news, the medium security prison in Concord is closed forever, and that is really good. I started there. I started doing this work 14 years ago, and that was the first place I went. And it's awful, just an awful place. Not that any prison is great, but it could be a lot better than that. So a lot of those guys have been finding their way to the other groups. We've had a few people that I hadn't seen in years who showed up. And we've had a few people who got paroled or just released, expiration of sentence, who came to visit the Cambridge Zen Center. And they were really into that, because the first time they got to wear robes. Many of them have precepts and they can wear a casa, but they can't wear a robe. They won't allow it. So it was the first time for that. And we have some pictures of that, which I won't be sharing with the Department of Corrections. But it's a really interesting group. I also visit one guy who's in solitary in the maximum security in Shirley. I see him twice a month because there's no Buddhist chaplain in the Massachusetts system, so I'm like it. And that's our program. And if you're interested in helping us out, we would love to have you. So thanks. I'm doing this the wrong order, sorry, I don't know. Oh, that was wonderful. Okay. Oh, you can get in touch with me through the Cambridge Zen Center website. My email is there. And I'm also not hard to find in a Google search. But yeah, Cambridge Zen Center. That's the easiest way. Finally, we'll hear from the Providence Zen Center. Kwan Heng Sanim, if you please.
So I brought a list with me, and yeah, I have a few things. The Providence Zen Center has been up to a few things. So without the list, I'm sorry, my memory doesn't work. So in February, we had our first joint retreat with the Full Moon Sangha in Boston. That's a retreat center. Two traditions, one family, and it's a blend of Japanese and Korean Zen tradition. It's the Full Moon Sangha in the Mazumi Roshi's lineage. And we've done a lot of Buddhist Christian sitting with other groups also. And our Sunday and Wednesday programs continue to go well. And our monthly day retreats, 1-day retreats, 2-day retreats, that also goes well. Also, we have a December 7-day retreat each year with Zen Master Jok that always goes well. The Sangha really likes that one. It's quite popular. Our summer and winter Kilche attendance is getting back up after the COVID catastrophe, I guess. And so that's been building back up. And one of the most exciting things in the past year or so is the number of talented people who have appeared. As one person mentioned, that there are a lot of people coming to the Zen Center these days. And yeah, I think there's a big question. The world is crazy. So you may have noticed that the new arm rail that's going down the stairs to the dining room, that's done by one of our volunteers. And we have a media group, a planning committee, a financial committee. And one of our volunteers is Lisa Odom Vabella, who has a master's in education, is the Rhode Island Department of Education Deputy Commissioner for Instructional Programs. You could stand up. Go stand up for us. Yeah. And she's many years in education since 2002. And her and Danielle, is Danielle here? Something like that? Oh, Danielle, they've started actually quite a successful children's program, Dharma School. And so I hope if you have any questions, please ask her and bring your children, and I'm sure they'll enjoy that. And I know of Lisa, she's a very good teacher, so that's a fact. And so with all these folks, and what we're really doing with the media committee and all these committees is that we're really trying to, in the future going forward, is to connect with our extended Sangha. So that's a very important thing. So we're going to really connect with that, and we've got things going, and as you say, irons in the fire to work in that direction. And so we have had a really successful fundraising program headed up by Dennis Popesening. And with that, he's got in touch with all these different kind of contractors and stuff like this. I don't know if you guys know how difficult it is to get people to fix the roof. I think what it is that everybody needs a roof fixed, and so you gotta really work and get out there and make the phone calls and get them over here to look at the roof, and then you gotta get bids from different people and get it done. And so that's what has been done. So we got a new roof, and we got skylights, and the decaying, leaking roof that's been over the Blue Rug area for years. Everybody knows that one there. For years, it's now watertight. And so we want to thank our Sangha also for contributing the money and all of that kind of a thing in order to do that. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been done. And so we've begun the process to make the monastery blue roof tile watertight. And as far as my memory goes back here, that roof has always leaked, and it's going to be a big bill in order to get it fixed. But the roof over the kitchen has been re-roofed and done. That's been completely done, so that's good. And we made a huge leap in our rental program to bring income and continue to maintain our Providence Zen Center. And the maintenance each month is a big one here. And so we'll continue to do that. And so, yeah, that's how it goes here. And I expect that the Providence Zen Center you're going to see in the years to come is going to, I think, grow its membership and just bring more people in. Okay? Thank you.
And now the Dharma speech will be given by Dae Kwang Sanin.
One is two, and two is one. Not one, not two. One is one, and two is two. So somebody told me if I was going to use those numbers like that I'd have to explain it to people. So this kind of explanation is called an exegesis. And now I will explain what exegesis means. I'm joking. So one thing I've always been very thankful for is Zen Master Sung Song and all of his efforts in bringing his teaching in the teaching. I used to be a university teacher, and I was very impressed when I met him because he doesn't have a PhD in philosophy or anything, and yet his explanations and his blah, 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 blah is very sharp and very, very good. And I was very impressed by that. So you can understand this one is two crap really easily by just understanding that our job as Zen practitioners is to find our true self, which is one, and help the world, which is two. That's the short version of it. So one thing that's interesting about Zen and always attracted me to it is it's not based on exegesis. It's not based on explanation of things. In fact, it's anti-explanation, right? It uses non-explanation techniques like hitting a table 3 times with a stick or hitting you over the head or something. So I was trying to think back, what kind of experiences did I have with Zen Master Sung Song, and in that like zone. So you may have heard this story before, but it's really interesting from a exegesis point of view. Heavy on the Jesus part here. So one time, myself and some other members of the Kansas Zen Center were visiting Zen Master Sung Song of all places in Kentucky. And we went out to dinner in Lexington, Kentucky. So I don't know, I never spent much time in the South in my life, so I can't say I'm more of a Vienna guy, than a Lexington, Kentucky type of guy. and we went to this restaurant. And it was good. We all filed in there. So we were a bunch of Sangha members. And there were 2 monks, Zen Master Sung Song and myself. And we sat down, we ate dinner, had a good time, blah, blah, blah. But I noticed as the meal went on, our waiter became more and more agitated. And I'm not a psychologist or anything, but it seemed to me that he was getting more and more angry all the time. So why would you get angry if you have a bunch of people spending a bunch of money and drinking and eating, if you're waiting on them? So the meal was finished, and we paid, and we went to leave. And just as we got to the front door, our waiter, ran in front of us and pointed at Zen Master Sung Song and said, "Do you believe in God?" Right? So I assume from that he was some kind of right-wing Christian of some kind or other. I don't know. Anyway, and Zen Master Sung Song just stood there and smiled. And I looked at him, "What are you doing?" He said, "Of course I believe in God." That's what he said to the guy, right? "Of course I believe in God. Oh, and by the way, did you ever meet God?" And the guy went like that. Like, and then we walked out. So right there is like the essence of Zen. If you put all religions on a continuum, on one end are, I always put religions that tread heavily on belief, right? So what this waiter said, "Do you believe in God?" It's a standard Christian thing. Everybody wants you to believe in the Providence Zen Center and believe in Zen, but nobody really gives a crap if you believe in the Providence Zen Center or Zen of all things. And then on the other end of the continuum is like experience. So some religions depend heavily on experience rather than belief. So you probably notice that we don't give a crap what you believe in Zen. Who cares? But what did you get? So like Tony's telling, oh, I got this wonderful experience. But actually, everything like that is based on that kind of thing. So we have a canoe laying out there by the lake that you'll see later when you go out to dance on the stage and sing and everything. So canoes are interesting, but did you ever paddle one? So I'm a big canoe guy. I love the theories of canoes. It's my specialty. But then there's, actually doing it and having that big turtle jump into the canoe with you and scare the hell out of you. So that's all better than believing in canoes, studying canoes, teaching a class on. I guess you could teach a class on canoeing. We have it in Singapore. They have classes in canoeing because Singaporeans are big. I mean, they're really big on canoeing, and it's great. So if you look at religions or a doctor pointing at the ceiling, you can analyze them in terms of how much do they utilize one of these versus the other. So just talking roughly, I'm not talking negative, I'm just analyzing the situation. If you look at Middle Eastern religions, they tend to tread heavily on belief, right? Like what do you believe? And then as you move over kind of towards India and definitely in Native American religions, they tread heavier on actual experience or trying to give you an experience. So the reason we have all this stuff is to kind of suck you into, lead you into having an experience yourself, but you don't need it. You have an experience without all of this stuff. So that's kind of interesting. So if you look at Buddhism and Hinduism, although Hinduism is kind of in the middle, and then Christianity or Islam or Judaism, they utilize belief a lot. So that's what I found originally. What I found very interesting about Zen is this: they don't care what you know or don't know or believe or don't believe. What they want to know is, or what they're trying to do is evoke a direct experience out of you rather than convince you to believe in something. So I want to thank you all for coming here today and supporting this. So all of this is designed to lead you to have an experience, right? Because all these things don't really mean much on the meaning level. It's helping you to have an experience. And that's actually what it's all about. So thank you for coming and listening. And most of all, thank you for coming here to practice, because that's what it's all about. And of course, practice is a kind of form that leads you to have an experience. And that's what it's all about. Thank you.
So our Founders Day poem this year has been written by Tim Lerch, and it will be presented by Zen Master Jok Um.
Homage to Tim, homage to the Sangha, Zen Master Sumsan, and to Jad for the Kongan, the flower roots in the sky. People will be talking about that for thousands of years. Just one comment, which I normally wouldn't do, but the title of Tim's poem brings this forward. Zen Master Sumsan went to a technical school in high school and learned those kind of trades. So when he came to America without any support in Providence, he got a job repairing washing machines in a laundromat because that's what he knew how to do, and he needed to derive an income. And he had gone away from a culture where he didn't have to do work for money, but here he did. Our apartment needed a washing machine repaired, and we got a Korean washing machine repairman, of all things, who liked Buddhism. So we were talking about it, and he'd gone to some workshops, not practice, but something struck him. And he said to me, you know, the only way to really communicate well is you have to be empty. And I thought, why am I spending all this time sitting on a cushion? So maybe our tradition derives from that. Tim's poem is entitled The Laundromat Repairman, hence the story. 1927, a child arrives. A student joins the resistance movement, prisoner, philosophy student. Discovers the Diamond Sutra, ordains. 100-day retreat, Great Dharani, Pine Needle Tea, Moktak enlightenment. Training at Chogye Sa, a real rascal. Transmission, soldier, abbot. 1972 appears in Providence. Students also appear. Around, Providence, New York, Boston, LA. 1983, Quantum School of Zen, big shout, big echo. 50 years, still reverberating. 2004 departs. Founders Day, 2024. Look left, look right. Still alive.
At this time, we're going to have the ceremony to celebrate giving. Senior Dharma teacher Nick Gershberg will give the speech to celebrate giving.
Good morning, everyone. So, a lot of what I intended to say and intend to say has already been said. Not surprisingly, all of our experiences kind of come together into one. But perhaps my job then is to sort of provide a focus or a narrative, kind of bringing these many threads together. And I'll start by just speaking a little bit about my own experience with our school. Like Tony, when I was around college age, I had a lot of seeking and a lot of, types of experiences that interested me. And I had the good fortune to find Zen Master Seung San's book, Dropping Ashes on the Buddha. So I read through that. Oh, very interesting. And when I moved back to New York City, I had a lot of energy and a lot of what we would call direction that had already formed as a result of my experiences and the little guidance I got through Zen Master Seung San's book. What I didn't have really any of was money. So for me, showing up at our center on 14th Street and being allowed to participate in the full gamut of practice, experience, and community, sangha, togetherness, with no obligation for money whatsoever, was very fortunate and very important. As we get older, we realize that maybe we have less energy, and we look at the newcomers, many of whom are young, and we feel, oh, what good fortune we have that this person will, help out. Because I had these things, right? I could show up and I could help however I could. Really, the purpose of this talk is giving, right? Really, opening your eyes and setting your feet down on the ground in the morning is an act of giving. Okay, no one really, as far as I know, maybe, asked to be born, and yet we still have to get up every day and do our best. Okay, and at the center, there are many ways that we can give of ourselves, of our time, of our energy, and most of us that stay around wind up doing just that. We help fix things. We take on responsibility. That is great, great giving. You almost can't pay your way out of that one. But that is a profound way in which those of us who linger end up giving. Okay, that responsibility. Many jobs, and we start in that way, perhaps. But a funny thing happens once you take on more and more responsibility, and a few people have mentioned this already. You start seeing the ways in which responsibility, the window that opens up to you, begins to realize there is no way to not pay our way out of this. We can't wish or sort of, maybe someone could bike very fast on a dynamo and keep the lights on, but we need to turn the lights on. We need to stop the water from falling down on our head when we're indoors. Right? Really at the heart of this, and I think all of us that were practicing during COVID kind of realized this communally. At the heart of this is this feeling of there is no way I am letting practice not happen. Practice is going to happen, and we're going to find a way, and whether it's through kind of craftiness and ingenuity, or through maybe spending some money to make sure that everyone that wants to participate can, we made it happen. But at the heart of it is this vow. We will provide this place, this occasion, for people that have the means, that don't have the means. Whoever appears, we will welcome them, and we will hopefully have a space that's comfortable and suitable for them to kind of taste this, so that that spark is sort of encouraged. That spark that they already come with is encouraged, just as we all experienced. So, on this day where we come together to sort of pay tribute to Zen Master Seung San, and I really like what you said, Tony, and the founder that we all sort of represent in ourselves and that we see sitting here today, I encourage everyone to really take a moment to take stock and to wonder how much and what you have to give, whether it's taking some responsibility and sharing that with those that are already working hard, or some vow of practice for yourself to really make the world a better place, or, if you can, some kind of donation that you will find cards before you to help solidify. I say this to you realizing actually as I walk to the ceremony that this, after 20 plus years, is the first robe I have ever actually bought myself. All of the other ones have been hand-me-downs. I still have my original bowing robe that someone gave me, but I finally shelled out for this beauty right here. It almost feels weird. It feels like it's someone else's, but so, you know, take a moment, think about it. You needn't necessarily fill out these cards. I know it can be kind of an awkward moment, but for those who feel that desire, we'll be chanting as you can bring them up to these boxes here. But really remember that even the smallest act, listening, being there for other people, is a form of giving, and you know, from that comes all other forms. So take a moment, and thank you for coming and for all of your practice and hard work. And to those that have been really renovating this center that we all love to come to, thank you all so much as well. So.
Well, as Nick said, we are going to chant, and during chanting, you'll have the opportunity to donate to the Quantum School on your cushions. You've undoubtedly already found the form, the envelope, the pen. Please use them. If you would like to give a donation by check or cash, just write your name on the form and put that check or that cash in the envelope. If you wish to donate using a credit card or make a pledge to be paid later, also a wonderful thing to do, simply fill out the form, put that in the envelope. And while we chant, you come up to the donation boxes here and there and put in your envelope. So do you want Moktak for Kwanzaa? So please stand for Kwanzaa Bosal chanting. Four great vows. Sentient beings are numberless. We vow to save them all. Delusions are endless. To cut through them all. The teachings are infinite. We vow to learn them all. The Buddha way is inconceivable. We vow to attain it. Please be seated. Oh, keep standing? Oh. Okay, well, then I'll just make the announcement standing. Lunch is at 12 in the dining room. We are delighted to have any of our visitors join us for lunch. A few guidelines. Feel free to eat anywhere around the building, but we ask that you return your trash to the bin outside the dining room and your dishes to the kitchen. If you are not paying overnight fees and you feel so inclined, please help defray food cost by leaving a donation for your lunch. There's a donation box for meals in the dining room. At lunchtime, there will be a thing here in this room, the Mental Health and the Sangha, a lunchtime chat. Ken Cassell, Mark Brenner, and Carter Thornton have collaborated with Cambridge Zen Center to do a workshop for Sangha members at Cambridge Zen Center on this topic. And we're going to discuss that workshop here at lunchtime. And it's to allow people to share about this and discuss with other mental health professionals how we might collaborate. We're holding this for mental health professionals. Certainly others who are interested are welcome. Get your lunch. Come here to the Dharma room for that. And Ken will be here. At 3 p.m., join us outside for the Providence Zen Center 45th Anniversary Music and Poetry Festival and Cookout, featuring people you might know. The gift shop will be open from 12:30 to 2:30. The precept ceremony is tomorrow at 10:30. Please see the bulletin board for times of the preparatory meetings that take place before the ceremony Sunday morning. Thank you all for sharing this special weekend with us. No, we're done. That's all I have. Two.
Okay, how is it? A little longer. I could do that thing where it looks like it's floating. Yes.
How are you?
Wow, you're all wired. Look at this. It's crazy.
This is all Wardell Salim's project.
Wow, and then that was in the back, yeah. And the lighting?
Yep, the lighting, got the speakers.
The speakers, yeah.
That you've got going, all the mics, yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. Nothing for me to do for that side, so
Yeah.
I love that.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So, and lots of people here this weekend?
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm
Yeah.
content. You know, it's usually not quite as many this time around. You know, everybody on vacation, but
Yeah, it seems fairly full.
it's definitely back up to the higher levels I was seeing after we came back in person.
Yeah, right.
Not counting
the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not counting the transmission in Inca. That was a huge weekend.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well, the weather's cooperating.
yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yes, I know. I was nervous about that. The rain looks like it's going to hold off, so that's good.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, no, it's nice to come up. I was up on Wednesday for practice, actually.
Oh, nice.
So not just for this. Not just for this.
Is your family doing any of the Olympic events? Are they visiting at all? Your family in France?
Are they attending
Attending,
events?
yeah.
Not really, actually. They were yesterday. They were outside of Paris, moving out of my mother-in-law's house, actually, that she's had for years and generations in her family.
Oh, wow.
So they weren't thinking about the Olympics much at all. It's just my wife, her sister, and her mom. They're not sports oriented anyway. So,
Yeah.
and Pascal said it's very easy to move around Paris. A lot of people have left, and it's just taken the pressure off. And the visitor levels have not been as high as they hoped.
Huh.
The promoters of it. Yeah. So, but all to the good. You know, you can, except the center of Paris. But the rest of Paris is just going on with life.
Nice. And this is typically the vacation time, right?
It gets, yeah, I mean, the month of August is noticeably slower there. Yeah. Yeah, so people leave anyway. So it's just the bus drivers and the subway drivers and trash folks. Everyone has to run the city is left. Anyway, I'm glad it's going well.
Yes.
I'm glad they're having a successful Olympics so far.
I haven't watched a ton of it. I've missed most of the...
No, I don't really. I watch a little. It's hard to avoid.
Yeah.
But I don't really follow any of those sports.
I like the gymnastics.
It's pretty, yeah. There's some aesthetics to it.